Greetings, how are you? Eric the Car Guy here, also known as ETCG1 on this channel. So, thank you for watching. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about Rosedale Week, which is the series of videos that I put out last week where I went back to my old school where I learned my trade and visited with, visited the new location and visited with some new and some old people when I was there. And I just wanted to sort of make this sort of a takeaway for Rosedale Week. And in a way, I kind of want to respond to some of the comments and things that have come out on the videos that I've posted. It's just gotten to a point now to where me spending time responding to all those comments there is something I just quite honestly don't have time for, and I apologize for that. But I have videos like this where I'm going to respond to some of your questions. But first, before I get to that, what I wanted to talk about was some of you really got it. Some of you understood where I was coming from and what I was doing with those videos. Some of you might have missed the point a little bit, and at least in my eyes, one of the things that I wanted you to take away from that week of videos was automotive education is huge. If you want to get into the automotive field and you want to become an automotive technician, I consider a good, solid automotive education a must. And as I said in the Rosedale video, you don't have to go to Rosedale. You can go anywhere you like, anywhere that's available to you, because I realize there are a lot of you out there watching from all over the place. But the idea is to get that foundation so that when you do get into the workforce and become an automotive technician, you can be effective at what you do. And also, let's face it, you'll get paid more. If you come walking in off the street and just walk in the door and say, I want to start working on cars, if you're lucky enough to actually get that job, you're not going to be on the same pay level as, like, say, somebody who's gone to school, who's got a degree in automotive technology and comes in. So if you're comparing the two side by side, you're going to lose out because you don't have that automotive education. You're not going to be as capable of doing as much as that person who got out of school. And I've always been a big proponent of just education in general. So and a lot of you are IT people, or you're from other fields and you watch this show. I really enjoy that, and all of you would agree that you could do better in your chosen profession if you had an education to back you up. Huge. So the biggest takeaway from Rosedale Week is that if you're interested in becoming an automotive technician, then definitely seek out some form of automotive education. Make the time for it, make it happen. And you can talk about, well, I've got this situation or that situation. I was in a pretty dire situation when I went to school, and I made it happen. And those people at that school helped out tremendously and helped me get that education that I needed, which brings you the Eric the Car Guy that you have today. Customer service. My conversation with Marc Mullin. That was probably one of my favorite videos next to my ScannerDanner videos, which we'll get to in a minute. But I think if you're thinking about getting into the field, and if you're thinking about starting a business, an automotive business, really watch that video. He was like bang on with everything that he said. And in fact, I've often said that to people who have come to me and asked me, hey Eric, I'm thinking about getting into the field, or I'm thinking about opening up my own shop. What advice can you give me? Watch that video. Watch that video. It's like I said, one of my favorites. And just for the heck of it, I'll post links to all of the Rosedale videos here in the description of this video. How about I just do that? Now, here's more of a meat and potatoes of this one, and that is ScannerDanner. I really enjoyed those videos. Some of you did not. Some of you absolutely loved it. You got it. But some of you really missed it and were really disappointed by it. And I've done some thinking about that. And I don't think it's so much that you didn't like the videos, because I think you were watching them from not necessarily seeing where I was coming from with that. And where I was coming from with that was, yes, some of you got that there was a difference between, say, somebody who doesn't have that diagnostic equipment, i.e. me, and someone who does have that diagnostic equipment, i.e. ScannerDanner. Now, many of you pointed out, I bet ScannerDanner couldn't do anything without his lab scope. You're dead wrong. The dude is smart, like way smart. And the reason he's so effective at using his lab scope and using those tools is because he understands the system. And that's the important thing. You need to understand the system. The lab scope, the scanner, all that stuff, the 5-gas analyzer those are all just tools. Those tools are supposed to make your life easier. They're not supposed to make it more difficult. A lot of you took away that, oh, this just makes cars more complicated. This just makes this, so much more difficult, and it's not going to be accessible to the DIYer or me in my garage, that kind of thing. I disagree. And I could not disagree with you more, because those are tools. Paul Danner understands those systems. He uses those tools to observe those systems. And that is easier for him to do it with those tools so that he can get a clearer picture of what's going on. That was the whole point of those videos. And that's what some of you seem to miss. And some of you outright just dislike the video because you couldn't relate. Well, I need you to open your mind a little bit, because what I intend to do over the next few months with the Eric the Car Guy channel is try to bring you some of that knowledge behind what was in that video. Understanding how a fuel injector works, understanding how ignition systems work, so that you can have a better idea, lab scope or not, to go out into the garage and find out what's wrong with your car or truck. That's the point. But ScannerDanner, being lost without a scanner, totally wrong. Completely and totally wrong. No, everything he needs is up here. And that's what you need. You need a working knowledge of the system. If you have a working knowledge of the system, you can use a scan tool and the knowledge of that scan tool or that lab scope to help you make that diagnosis, or you can use that same knowledge without that scan tool and come up with different methods of accomplishing the same task. That was the takeaway from those two videos, is that I was trying to show like my methods here, which I don't have access to a scope or 5-gas analyzer or those things. I'm still effective at fixing those vehicles. It may take me longer, or I may employ different methods, but the end result is the same. There is a repair. There is a diagnostic process that you go through to get to that point. So please, those of you that dislike those videos, for whatever reason, I think it's because you saw it as a departure from the backyard approach. And during the course of the video, if you watched, I was trying to take that into account. I was trying to say, okay, well, he's talking about this. Some of the people out there watching this may not necessarily understand this. And for those of you out there that were saying, well, I could have had that figured out in 5 minutes. Great, great. I'm very happy for you, but what we were trying to do there is teach. How you get there doesn't really matter, as long as you come to a solid conclusion. It can take you 5 minutes, and sometimes I've said in other videos, you could have a working knowledge of that vehicle and know that anytime you see, this particular check engine light code come up, this is where you look. That's fine, because so much of what we do as technicians involves our experiences. So don't start pointing fingers at others when you say you can do it better. That's fine. I'm very happy that you can do it better, but that wasn't the point of those videos. The takeaway is this: automotive education can open your world up to so much more. Also, you may find yourself in a situation where you don't necessarily have that diagnostic capability. And my intent with starting the Eric the Car Guy channel from the beginning was not just to teach people how to fix their cars, but for those that weren't necessarily capable, to give them an idea of what they might be up against so that they can make a decision, an educated, informed decision on how they wanted to proceed. Is this something that's beyond me? Is this something that requires special equipment that I don't necessarily possess? Well, now I understand why I have to take it into the shop and spend X amount of money for them to do what they're doing. But when I walk through that door, I can talk to that technician and I can, with a straight face, have an intelligent conversation with them about what's happening and let them know that I understand what's happening, so that I'm an informed consumer. I'm an informed auto repair consumer. That's the purpose of my channel. That's my purpose here, the way I see what I do. So, the takeaway from Rosedale Week: automotive education, extremely important. ScannerDanner, without his scanner, would be just fine. Trust me. The man is very smart, very capable. And I hope you enjoyed it. I mean, I really enjoyed reconnecting with all that. And I hope that I can find ways moving forward to incorporate, more automotive education things in there. I'd like to somehow help you, those of you interested in becoming automotive technicians. I'd like to help you get into the field. I would consider that an honor to help you and inspire you to do better and bring your life up like I've done with mine, and I couldn't be happier. And I have to thank all of you for, you know, the success that you've brought to Eric the Car Guy. I really appreciate it. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. I've been babbling on and on and on. But I'm Eric the Car Guy. You can always visit me at ericthecarguy.com, or you can follow me on Facebook and Twitter, as well as Google+. And I'm going to close with, be safe, have fun, stay dirty, and get educated. See ya.